My name's Tashiana and I'm a maximalist, and welcome to December Daily. I feel like right there, that's where we would cue the intro music if this was like a TV show, because you guys, first of all, hello, I am back. I have not recovered from surviving finals, but there was no way I could not work on my album, and there was no way I could stay away for too long. And Tashiana has some stories to tell, so I am back. Welcome back, you guys. I have missed you. I don't know if you've missed me, but I have missed you. I keep going online and I'm like, I wish I had a YouTube video to share, and I wish I had some stuff to talk to my friends about. But I needed to do finals, like real life, you guys. Nursing school's over. I have made it. I've seen the belly of the beast and I've made it to the other side. And now we get to finish documenting the month. And I have day 15 and 16 actually like printed and ready. So depending on how filming this one goes, I might actually just make day 16 right after this and get that video up also. But I am ready. So here's what I have. And this is why I call myself a maximalist. Because some people, when they do December Daily, they're like, oh, I can only use one picture a day. And Tashiana's like, I'm going to use 100. Like I literally have a ridiculous amount of pictures in front of me. So one night, this was day 15. So day 15 was Sunday. On Sunday, Joshua was decided that I had studied entirely too much and we were going to go on an adventure. So we went to this place in New York City called I have the picture of the title of the show. The New York City Winter Lantern Festival. I am very much over going to see like Christmas trees, and then on Facebook they recommended this show and I was just like, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. So we went to see this thing and it was amazing. And I am literally like, I am dead. Like it was so good. And I took so many pictures, and I thought it would be fun to do a dark spread just because there's so much light everywhere else in my album. Also, when we went to this event, I took, I think I had 130 pictures by the end of the night, and I managed to narrow it down. I think I printed 20 in various sizes, and I started with 130. So the fact that I took 130 pictures down and I got 20, I think is worth documenting. I could not decide what pictures I wanted, and I'm very good at figuring out how to get multiple pictures into a spread. So I wasn't that worried that I was going to have too many pictures. And I did have too many pictures. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I didn't print all of them, but it was really hard for me to pick what my favorite lanterns were. And when I was taking pictures, I made sure to take pictures in different orientations just to give myself multiple options. So here's what I have going on. First of all, let me show you what day 14 looks like so you understand where I'm starting. Also, if this is your first time, welcome to December Daily on my channel. I'm normally a lot more organized than this, but I'm still recovering from finals. There are process videos for all 14 days up until today, so go binge, have fun. So here's what day 14 looks like. So my plan was this is not the right size picture. So I'm going to put this picture right here, and then I'm going to do a bunch of madness. So I'm just going to stop talking and I'm going to get to it. Because at this point, this intro has been like 20 minutes long. And we're going to end up with a 45-minute video at the rate I'm going. So my plan is to do, I always include at least one. Sometimes there's like 5. But I always include at least one 12x8 picture. And this was my favorite lantern display. So my plan is to hide the, I don't know how to explain it. So I'm going to do this. It's going to look like this, and then it's going to flip out and look like that. That's the plan. So I'm just going to go for it. I've made a few flip ups on my channel already. I like to use cardstock instead of washi because it hides the madness. The thing is, when you're backing something like this, you got to make sure that the orientations of what you're using matches. So if this is going to look like this, and then when it's closed, it has to look like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just attach these two pictures together, because I think the easiest way to do this would be to attach these two pictures together so they can close, and then put this photo on the back of this. So I'm going for it. I think I did this in my 2018 album. Like, I was convinced I did this in my 2018 album, and then I couldn't remember what day I did it for. And my albums are not hiding. Like, I know where they are, but I was just like, well, I'm not gonna go look for it. I'm gonna wing it, and I'm gonna make it happen. And I'm probably gonna, there we go, I'm already doing silly things. So I probably should have looked to make sure that I knew how to do this, but I am the flip out queen. The self-proclaimed flip out queen. No one else has ever told me that. So I switched my tape. I was using the dot tape runner, and I switched to the normal permanent adhesive, and I'm already kind of regretting that, and I think I might go back to my dot tape runner. And the reason I'm already regretting that is because if you've watched me scrapbook before, I pick up things a lot and I move them, and I won't be able to do that so much with this tape because you saw I already ripped that photo. So that's how that looks, and that is perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. So now I'm going to put this here, and I'm actually going to open it up so I can make sure I get it straight the first time, because you saw there are no second chances with this tape. Before I do that, see, I'm not even like thinking straight. There is an extra step. I have to put this here on this side. I have to put this on this side so I can actually put it in the album. So I don't need to do that. I can do that afterwards. I am very, like I said, I'm recovering from finals. My final exam went really well, you guys. I've already gotten my grades. I have officially passed nursing school. And I did, you know, I did relatively well for nursing school. I'm actually giving the speech at Pinning. So, which I guess you guys probably know that, I mean, if you've been here for a while, you know that I write a lot. So some of my classmates have read some of my writing or heard some of the things I wrote, and they were like, yeah, you have to give the speech at Pinning. So I'm giving the speech at Pinning, which is very nerve-wracking because I'm going to cry. So I'm going to end up crying in front of 100 people. Well, they're expecting maybe 1,000 people to our pinning ceremony. So I'm going to end up crying in front of 1,000 people. So that's going to be great. Aha! So it works. Look. So it's going to be like this, nice and closed. And then it's going to open and it's going to be like this. This is great. So the next thing I'm going to do is just attach this. And this is just a piece of graphics transparency. This is what I like doing this for. If I don't want to punch holes in my photo, this is just a really easy way to make sure that I can attach the photo to the album. And again, it's just a clear transparency. I punched the holes with my 6-hole punch that lines up with Allie's album. It's this one. You guys have seen me use this before. I should really just start linking it in the description of my video, because people always ask me, where'd you get it? Because it's so hard to find a paper trimmer, not a trimmer, a hole punch that works. And then for my number, I used, oh, I was hoping I didn't lose any letters. I got this cool star vellum from Michaels, and so I just cut out the word 15, and I'm going to layer it going down the side of my photo, because I think that'd be fun to add a number. I like spelling out, like having a mix of spelled out numbers and like actual numbers. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. This tape is, I forget what brand it is, but it's supposed to be like tape that you can use on vellum that's like this. Wait, which way? Here. It's supposed to be tape that you can use on vellum that you can't really see through. I have had mixed success with it. Some days I think it works really well and I don't see the tape. And then other times I've used it and I do see the tape. So I'm not sure if it depends on which vellum you're using. But I'm going to go put down my 15 and I will be right back. Hey guys, so I got my 15 glued down with my fancy vellum tape. It actually worked really well this time. Like, I don't think you can see the adhesive through the vellum at all. I might have to go back and put a little bit more because I was worried that you would see through it. But I really like it. And so this is the photo that we took at the end of the night. It was like a fun light arch. And then I just I had Joshua take a photo of me further away. And I need to get a photographer because my husband does not follow directions very well. But after trying this shot like 100 times, I finally got one I liked because I really like this picture. So here it is. I have my 15 and it's going to open up and it has my favorite like whale background. I really like whales and polar bears and penguins. I have a penguin tattooed on my leg. I collect stuffed penguins. Penguins are very much my thing. So this is part of the spread. The other part of the spread is going to be a pocket. I was like, what else am I doing? So before I even start assembling the pocket, what I'm going to do is attach my journaling to this, because once I assemble the pocket, it's going to be way too chunky. to attach to journaling. And if you've seen my day 8 process, this is gonna look really familiar to you, because exactly what I did on day 8, I'm gonna do today, just on a much larger scale. So my journaling is a letter to my city. I wrote a letter to New York because I have a love-hate relationship with New York City. My friends know, like, I love New York, don't get me wrong, this is like my hometown, but I'm also plotting my escape as quickly as possible. So I go back and forth on whether I love this crazy city or not. So yeah, so that's where I am. And I think the way I'm going to attach this into the album is with those fun, someone told me, I probably should have looked this up before I turned on the video, but someone told me that those fun clips that I use to put Noah's wreath in my album are called garment clips. So that's garment pins. So that's what I'm going to call them from now on. So those fun garment pins that I got on Amazon that I used in my day 13 spread, that is how I'm going to attach this into the album. So I just punched 4 small holes using my crocodile, which I have been informed is actually an alligator. That is what my husband is calling my crocodile, an alligator. And so I was prepared, and I had everything on my desk except the garment pins. I will find the garment pins, and that is how I'm going to attach them into my album. But I'll have to look for those. I have no idea where they are. No idea. Okay, so here's my journaling. And that's it. I might put like a tiny chipboard sentiment on top, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to... Oh, you guys, can I tell you what I did the other day? So I really, really wanted to make something, and I didn't have the energy to make something, so I organized. And I actually punched holes in all my chipboard, and I put the smaller shaped chipboard on a ring, and I put my big stars on a ring, because if you're... I mean, those of you who are new here, I'm pretending to be organized, but there have been plenty of videos where I'm like, I'm going to be right back because I can't find my supplies. So now, this will hopefully save me from losing stuff, so... There's plenty of chipboard that aren't on these rings, but a fair amount is here. So what I did is I made a pocket, and this is 4.5, and then I scored, this part is 4.5. I think this whole thing is, I have a ruler, I can just tell you exactly what I did. So this whole thing is 7 inches by 4.5. And what I did was I scored it at 1 and 1.5, and then flipped it, scored it. I scored it at 1 and 1.25, and then flipped it, scored it at 1 and 1.25, and then flipped it again and scored it at 1 and 1.25. And this will give me a pocket. And if you see, it leaves like enough room that the pocket is off the page, so you can put something fairly chunky in it, because I am making another accordion tag, just like I did for day 8. So I'm just going to go ahead and assemble my pocket, because on day 8, I didn't do this. I didn't like do the measuring and the scoring right, and I actually had to end up taking the one that I had in the album out at a later date and doing it again because it wasn't behaving. So, see, I've made a pocket, and that's going to go just like this, and it's going to hold my my accordion tag with all the photos that I've taken, that I took at the light show. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick that down. And I went with this paper because it was neutral enough. Sorry, I can't talk and work. I went with this paper. Oh my goodness, stick down. I went with this paper because it was neutral enough that I didn't think it would interfere with all the dark photos. And then it had this like fun star pattern, which I thought went, you know, really well with the theme of the spread, which was about the light show. And so I think what I'm going to do is probably put a chipboard, like one of these big chipboard stars, which I can find now because they're all on this ring, and maybe put a sentiment. But I'll do that later. So when the whole thing is in the album, it's going to look like this with the... I'm wondering if I'm going to use the garment... I think I am going to use the garment pins, but I got to decide, because I wanted to be able to see the 15. Like, I wanted it to look like that. And I don't know if it's going to work that way with the garment pins. I got to put it in the album and we'll see. But let's just keep going. So here we go. So I printed out a million photos. And I printed some that were horizontal in orientation. And then I had some that were vertical in orientation. And I have like a selfie I took of Josh and I at the end of the night. And then I just wanted to make sure there were some pictures of me and some pictures of us. And then I have some pictures of the light show. So I think I might actually cut these into tags and then assemble them. So I'm going to pull out a tag from Allie that's 4x6. There we go. I'm just going to use this as my template, and then I'm just going to cut these down, and I'm going to assemble my tag book. And I left the footage in last time just so you guys could see how I assemble a tag with my flip up mechanism. I think I'm going to leave the footage in again just because I think it would be helpful if you've never seen me do this. If you've never seen me do this, like if this is your first time here, I think it'd be helpful to see like how I put things together. But if you've already seen the day 8 video, then yeah, I'm just going to do the same thing that I did on day 8, just on a much larger scale, because I really wanted the big pictures. I tried printing them smaller, and they didn't look as good printed smaller. So I printed them 4x6, and I went through so much photo paper for this one spread, which is okay because I don't know. I like the mix of like heavy photo spreads with like relatively simple spreads. I think at the end of the month, the album looks really fun when it's like that. And also like how many days a year do you get to go to a lantern show where there's like giant, when I tell you these displays were huge, it took Joshua and I an hour and a half to walk through it all. There were so many. They had like all 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. I was born in the year of the horse. My husband was born in the year of the rabbit, which is why I only took pictures of those. And there were so many. They even had like a little Christmas themed one, but by then my hands were frozen, so I couldn't take any more pictures, and the pictures I did take weren't very good. But we had the best time. It was so much fun, and I needed that break before I went into finals, so I'm so glad we went. So here we go. I've cut all my pictures into tags. None of them were upside down. So I'm gonna fast forward through assembling this, and I will be right back. So I'm back. So I have found my garment pins. I have finished assembling my tag pocket. I actually added a little bit of trim to the top. So here's how it looks. I'm opening it the wrong way. Here's how I don't know why I printed an even number of photos, but I did. And so it opens weird, but here's how it opens if you open it the vertical side, and then I'm gonna fold it back. And then here's how it looks if you open it the horizontal side. So the horizontal side, you have to hold it like that to see it. But I think it worked so well, and it just folds up really nicely, and it fits in this pocket I made perfectly. Now it's sliding around a lot, but that's because I think it's designed to be held vertically. And so once it's in the album, I don't think it'll move around so much. And then I went and I pulled out my chipboard that I don't have holes punched in. And I pulled out this sentiment that says calm and bright. And I have this black chipboard that says Star of Wonder. And I'm going to put a small star here with the 15. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this star right here. So I have that star with the 15. I'm going to go ahead and do what I said, which is put a larger gold star here, if I can get it out. So I'm going to put a large gold, do I want that one or do I want that? No, that size is fine. So I'm going to put a gold star right here, kind of dead center. And that looks pretty centered to me. It might not be, but it looks centered enough. And then I'm just going to strip this chipboard because then it's going to get a little two-dimensional. Although at this excuse me. Although at this point, it doesn't even make sense to fight dimension because I made a pocket that's like a whole 1/4 of an inch thick. So we're not even fighting dimension anymore. So I'm going to put, actually I think I'm going to put, where do I want to put this? Do I want to put it underneath? I want it layered across the star. But everywhere I put it looks kind of weird because it's a little, I'm just going to cut it down because it's a little long. So I'm just going to, oh, I didn't cut that straight at all. Okay, I think I've ruined that. Never mind, I need a new plan. I ruined it. I'm going to go with the Today's Story one because when I tried to cut that down, I ruined it. Yeah, no, that did not happen. That did not go well. All right, but I'm going to use the Today's Story one. I really want to use this black chipboard so I can use the black chipboard on the other side. So same thing. This one actually fits much better. So let's go ahead and say I intended to use this one the entire time. That's what we're going to say. We're going to go ahead and say I intended to use it the entire time. And then I'm just going to put this one on the back and kind of center it. And that looks pretty centered. Okay, so that's how that's gonna look. And let's just start getting this in the album and see how this is going. I do not want to over embellish this page just because I want the photos to speak for themselves. So it's like, I feel like I say this a lot, but I struggle with that fine line between making something embellished and over embellishing. I'm always on the over embellishing side. Oh, here's the other thing I did when I was organizing and being all like smart and stuff, is I organized my smaller embellishments, because I was always, I mean, if you've watched this video, I'm always like rifling through things, trying to find the perfect embellishment. So I went and I organized my small embellishments. So this photo is designed to fit right behind this with the clear transparency still hanging out. And it also protects my stitching a tiny bit, so I'm happy about that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick the panda down. And when I took this picture at the lantern, like I knew I needed to have one picture that would have been able to be printed less than 6 by 8 and still look okay. And so I took a few shots on my phone, like purposefully. And I guess since I give you guys tips every video, that would be my tip. Like if you know there's a particular story you want to tell or a particular thing you want to document, like aim to get pictures that are going to work. That is so pretty. You guys. Okay. Aim to get pictures that are going to fit in the story you want to tell. So I think I might use this felt star. Since I have this, like since I'm using stars everywhere, I think it might be fun to use a different texture, or should I use a chipboard star? I don't think I have a chipboard star. Yeah, I don't have any chipboard stars with a sentiment. Well, it doesn't make sense to put this black one because that's black. So I'm either going to use this felt star, or I could use one of these fun cork stars. But if I use one of these fun cork stars, that's going to get super thick. Unless I put it up here. Or I could put it up there. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, I'm going to put that cork star up there. And then what am I going to put with it? I still have these like fun, these rubber embellishments. I don't know if I like any of these stories, any of these titles. So let me think about this. I do like that fun cork star, but I do think I need to put something else to ground it. Otherwise, it's just there by itself. Unless I do, like I mix some textures and I put some of these fun, like these tiny wood veneer stars with it and make like a cluster. Oh, I like that so much. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I like that so much. Like I like the trio of the mixed textures. So I'm going for it. So I'm going to put this fun cork star down. This page is going to be super chunky. But it's December, and if there isn't a project where you could go like full on embellishing, and December Daily isn't it, I have no idea what it is. So I'm going for it. Oh, so you guys, so I was workshopping this idea. Do you know that, like, can you guys tell that workshopping is one of my favorite phrases? Like I'm always workshopping something, but I was workshopping this idea with one of my friends, and I was talking to her about December Daily, and I was like, why is it that with December Daily, we give ourselves license to make these like huge chunky interactive pages, and then when the month is over, we don't think, like we tell ourselves, or I don't know what we tell ourselves. I know I tell myself like I have freedom during December to make all the things and to do all the things, and I don't give myself that same freedom the rest of the year. And why, like I was trying to figure out why, you know, why exactly that is. So for next year, I'm going to keep a 6 by 8 album, just like the one I have right now for December Daily. And I'm going to attempt to get rid of all those like silly limits that we put on ourselves, or that, I can only speak for myself. Get rid of all those silly limits that I put on myself the rest of the year in terms of my crafting. So I'm going to make as many interactive pages as I can, because I love doing that during December, and why shouldn't I do that the rest of the year? And I'm going to put all the chunky things, and we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a really fun exercise, and I'm really excited for it. Oh, this looks so cute when it's all assembled. Okay, you guys, it worked. It worked so well. Okay, so I have my big panda with my stars, and then I have my tag flip that you guys saw me make. And then on the back of it is my journaling. And then I have that big photo of me that's with the lights and the 15. And then when you flip out, you have the whales. And I I feel like I should put something on this page. The thing is, if I put something on this page, it has to be something flat so that when it closes, that doesn't interfere. So I'm going to go and pull out my flatter, like my cardstock stickers, and see if there's any stars in my cardstock stickers, because I think that would work best, just since I have stars everywhere else. And I don't think I have any flatter stars. Just excuse me while I rifle through the mountain of things that I have managed to accumulate since doing this project. So I don't have any stars. I could use this one that says "This Merry Moment." I could do that. All right, let's just go with it. Let's see what happens. So if I grab this red one that says this, is there red anywhere else? I don't want to introduce red because there's no red anywhere else. So I might go with this more neutral gray color. Like if I had a yellow one, that would be ideal because there's gold already. I don't know. We're making this up as we go. You guys, I don't think I'm going to embellish this photo. Like, I feel like I should, but I like it so much, and I worry that if I stick anything down to it, I'm going to hate it. And it's already in my album and assembled, so I can't, like, take it apart without ruining the page. So I actually think I'm going to leave it. I like this spread enough without anything extra that I don't think it needs anything extra. And there's so much everywhere else, and this is kind of like a little surprise. I do have to put some sort of tab. So I'm going to get my tab punch. And it would have been nice if I had saved the rest of this paper to punch a tab out of, which I'm sure I did, and I just have no idea where I put it. Never mind. I found it. Great. Okay, so I'm going to just punch out a tab just so I can attach it to the top of the photo so I remember to flip that page open. Otherwise, I might just like keep flipping past it and not open it up. Actually, I think the best place to put it is actually between the two pictures, because then you won't be able to see it on the other side. So I'm going to punch 2 tabs first of all, because the back side, this is a 12 by 12 paper, and so the back side of it is blue, and I do not want to see that. So I'm going to first punch 2 tabs and put the 2 tabs together. I actually really like the way this came out. Like, I was on the train ride home from the light show, and this is what Joshua and I do whenever we do things together. We like talk about how I'm gonna get it into my December daily album. He's very much on board with this project. Every day I make something and he comes home, I'm like, okay, now you have to look at what I made and you have to ooh and ah over it, and he's a very good sport about that. So we were talking about how I was going to get this in the album, and he was like, you have so many pictures, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to put all the pictures. And he was like, Tashiana, you cannot put all the pictures. And I was like, haha, watch me. And you know what? Tashiana got all the pictures. So here's how this spread looks. I keep flipping through it because I love it so much. Like, it's one of those things which is like, there's so much to see. There's like fun stuff. So I'm going to read you my journaling. And I've been listening to my last few videos, and I stumble through reading my journaling. And I think the reason I stumble is because I'm not reading it in the voice that I wrote it in. So, I mean, I hope you guys don't think this is terribly pretentious, but I'm going to read you my journaling in the voice I wrote it in, because I think I'm going to stumble less, and that's the way I've designed it. Like, I've designed it to be written. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to read you my journaling. So it says, Dear New York City, you, the original concrete jungle, are a wonderful city of light, and you taste like smoke and grease and spice, and you smell like smog and wet and crowds, and you feel like home. You are my stomping grounds, the backdrop to my origin story, the city where I was made and raised and grew up in and lost then found myself in, and where I became an almost adult in. They say that if you make it here, you can make it anywhere, that this is the veritable fire and anvil that forges the toughest steel, that you either sink or swim here, and I have yet to figure out which way I am leaning. I am relearning you through his eyes, through the eyes of a non-native, and seeing all the bright and shiny things as new again, and not as the overrated and trite bits of fluff that they have become. I am relearning how wonderful you can be. And while you are incredibly stressful, and I think I would do well with space and room to stretch and grow, you are spontaneous and you are evolving and you are sculpting yourself anew right before my very eyes, shedding the dark and the grunge and becoming something light and airy and grounded and diverse and all at the same time. I am relearning how much fun it is to go to Old Faithfuls, to the Prospect Park Zoo and the New York Aquarium and the library I would go to and sit and read for hours when I couldn't be home for a single minute longer. And I am finding new gems like the Winter Lantern Festival and all the brunch places Joshua and I hide out in and drink coffee in like the hipsters we are, and the dive bars where my nursing sisters and I drink our sorrows away. I have learned your subway maps like the lines in the palm of my own hand, and I have learned which bus routes are tried and true and which ones to avoid, and I have learned which Starbucks are the least crowded at rush hour, and I have learned which seamless restaurants deliver the fastest and which ones make you wait, and I have learned to love you in new ways I never could have as a child. In this season where Joshua and I are planning to leave you behind someday soon, it makes me want to hold on to you a little bit tighter and love you a little harder and let you imprint yourself further on my heart, in my memories, until you take this girl out of New York City, but you don't take the New York City out of this girl. I don't know what else to say to you besides thank you for always being yourself yet ever changing, for being for being a dynamic constant in my life, for always being there for me to come back to, and for sculpting me and teaching me and cultivating this woman I am becoming. I don't always like you, but I think I will always love you. So that's my journaling about the city that I was raised in. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I went away for school. I came right back. Joshua and I will be leaving at some point because for grad school, I can't stay in New York City. But till then, this crazy concrete jungle, this Big Apple, the city of light, this is my home. So I hope you enjoyed day 15. I just keep, I know you're watching me flip through it, but I just keep flipping through it because I had this crazy idea in my head and it worked out so well. I love when that happens. I say this all the time, but I love when a plan comes together and I storyboard these December daily pages before I start making them. And sometimes I have to re-evolve and reformat. And this page did exactly what I wanted it to. And I have all the photos and I have the dark and I have my vellum and I have my number. And it just makes me so happy. So thank you so much for coming back. I have missed you guys. I am back. I am back to stay. There are no finals to kidnap me. I am ready to get into December daily, really get into December. I got to go Christmas shopping. I got to do all the things. And now we have space and time to breathe. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me all the love in my comments because I am loving the comments. I always respond. You guys are the best. And till next time, I'll see you on day 16 where we'll be documenting something really, really fun. I'm really stoked for how this page is going to come out. So I will see you at day 16. Keep it crafty, friends.